To the surprise of virtually no one, Indiana Fever superstar Caitlin Clark was named the WNBA's Rookie of the Year this past weekend, claiming the prestigious honor after a record-setting season. Clark's biggest opponent for the award throughout the year was Chicago Sky guard Angel Reese, whose own campaign for the award was cut short earlier this month by a season-ending injury. Reese set a number of records of her own for her rebounding prowess, but even before her injury, Clark was pulling away in the Rookie of the Year race in a big way. So is Angel Reese jealous after Caitlin Clark unanimously wins Rookie of the Year? Taking to X shortly after the awards were announced, Reese gave what appeared to be her reaction to Clark winning Rookie of the Year. She didn't acknowledge Clark by name, but most believe that it was a comment about her award win regardless. Woke up again a very blessed girl, a very happy girl, Reese wrote on X. Clark previously silenced the rivalry discourse between herself and the Chicago Sky star, saying she's had enough of the supposed animosity narrative.
I'm pretty sure the only people that view this as a rivalry is all of you. For us, it's just a game of basketball.
Reese countered by saying the rivalry is merely a media creation, and she believes the ferocity shown between the two players is simply due to competition. For me, I don't think people realize it's not personal. I think people just take it like we hate each other. Me and Caitlin Clark don't hate each other. I want everybody to understand that. It's just a super competitive game. Once I get between those lines, there's no friends. We're not buddies. I'm going to talk trash to you. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get in your head the whole entire game. But after the game, we can kick it. I don't think people really realize that. Clark previously said she regrets how her on-court battles with Reese became a distraction during consecutive deep runs to the national championship game, and how it took away from stellar seasons at Iowa the past couple of years prior to both players becoming first-round WNBA draft picks. The 2022-23 women's basketball season ended with a heated confrontation between Reese and Clark near the end of the national championship game. The first of consecutive losses by Iowa in the final game, both players said there was no ill will prior to this season's long-awaited rematch showdown in the Elite Eight that drew record viewership, but it remained a major storyline. While Reese's rookie year was commendable, her numbers didn't necessarily scream MVP. Playing for a Chicago Sky team that failed to make the playoffs for the first time in 6 years, Reese was a consistent presence on the court. However, she was outshined by teammate Chennedy Carter, who led the team in scoring with 17.5 points per game, yet did not receive any MVP votes herself. Chicago's post-Olympic struggles further complicated the team's performance, especially after the mid-season trade of Marina Mabrey to the Connecticut Sun. With a roster in transition, the Sky couldn't replicate their championship run from 2021, but Reese's standout stats still earned some recognition even if it came as a surprise. In comparison, Indiana Fever's Caitlin Clark had a standout season and led her team to the playoffs as the number 6 seed. Clark's leadership and on-court brilliance were so notable that she finished 4th in the MVP race, though she did not receive any first-place votes. And she's done playing basketball on many levels this year. Clark has revealed her plans to swap the basketball court for the golf course during the off-season and will avoid spending time with the likes of Angel Reese, who committed to Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier's new unrivaled league, an off-season 3v3 women's league that has offered 6-figure salaries and is set to take place in Miami this January. While many WNBA players choose to continue playing in European leagues or other leagues, Clark has decided to take a different path.
I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to do the next day. So maybe play some golf. I think that's what I'm going to do until it gets too cold in Indiana. So I got that. I'll become a professional golfer.
Ultimately, Wilson's dominant performance throughout the season made her the undisputed MVP, but Reese's surprising 4th place vote highlights how unpredictable the awards process can be. While some argue the vote was undeserved, others view it as recognition of Reese's potential in future seasons. As the WNBA continues to grow, the MVP voting process is bound to spark conversations, and Reese's surprising inclusion this year is a perfect example of how even a single vote can fuel widespread debate. Talk of a Larry Bird-Magic Johnson type of rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese might be overblown, but there is no doubting that the matchups between Clark's Indiana Fever and Reese's Chicago Sky will only get more intense as both teams attempt to crack open championship windows in the coming seasons. The Fever's window is already open, but Clark's maiden playoff appearance might end up being a pretty short one. The WNBA's best-of-3 first-round playoff format leaves little margin for error, especially as 6th-seeded Indiana lost heavily to the 3rd-seeded Connecticut Sun in Game 1 of their series on Sunday. The 93-69 defeat was a bit controversial, and while Reese has stayed away from addressing said controversy directly, she has made her support well known for one of the parties involved, and it's not Clark. Amid the rookie's record-breaking debut season in the W. Amid fierce debate over a poked eye incident in Game 1 of the Fever Suns series, Reese on Wednesday, hours before tip-off of Game 2, took to social media to congratulate Sun guard Dejanay Carrington for winning the WNBA's Most Improved Player Award for 2024. In her 4th professional season, Carrington broke out as a key player for the Sun, starting at all 40 of Connecticut's games between the regular season and the playoffs. She set new career highs in points, rebounds, assists, and steals per game, solidifying herself as one of the top defensive guards in the league, and becoming embroiled in an unfortunate controversy centered on an accidental poke that left Clark with a black eye. It seems Angel Reese nor WNBA legend Cheryl Swoops can say or do anything these days without it somehow relating back to Caitlin Clark. Many believe Clark and Reese, the number 1 and 2 rookies in the WNBA this season, respectively, don't like each other, which only fuels speculation that both have taken subtle jabs at one another through social media. Conversely, Swoops has been a bit more forthcoming with her issues with Clark, though she still maintains her remarks are not a personal attack against the AP WNBA Rookie of the Year. Both recently gave their side of the drama surrounding themselves and Clark on Reese's podcast Unapologetically Angel, including who's to blame for keeping the fire burning as long as it has.
I feel like it's really weird, and I think it also goes back to a lot of these men in media all of a sudden have opinions about women's basketball. Never had opinions about women's basketball before, but
While both have solid points about mainstream media fanning the flames about each's personal rivalry with Clark, both have also done their part to keep fueling that speculation as well. Though Reese hasn't said anything negative about Clark publicly, she did make head-turning comments on her debut podcast about Clark's fans harassing her, leaving her death threats and stalking her at her house, among other things. Swoops has spoken about Clark several times on her Queens of the Court podcast, and she most recently came under fire for claiming Clark wasn't dominant during her rookie season, despite finishing 4th in voting for the AP WNBA MVP and being the unanimous winners for AP WNBA Rookie of the Year award. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. What do you think about CC being the unanimous Rookie of the Year? Is Angel Reese really so jealous of her? I would love to hear your opinion, so let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.